Hey everyone, this is Paul and welcome back to Intro to DJing. What I want to do in this video is talk about where DJs get their music or where you can get your music. Now there are a lot of different places you can get music from, and I want to talk about the pros and cons of each. These include things like streaming services like Apple Music, Spotify, or Tidal, online stores like iTunes, Amazon Music, and Beatport where you buy individual songs, DJ pools, we'll talk about some examples of those like Club Killers, BPM Supreme, DJ City. Free download sites, some places like SoundCloud will often allow artists to upload their music and you can get free downloads. There are illegal sites, and then of course YouTube to MP3 converters and so on and so forth. And of course if you're a DJ or producer, you can also make your own songs that you would play as well. But most of the time as an open format DJ, you're going to be playing other people's music, or if you're making your own music, often you will be also interspersing that with music other people find. So we'll talk about where to find your music and then later on how to build a music library from that. So the first would be streaming services like Spotify, Apple Music, or Tidal. Now the benefit of this is you get a huge music library at a really low price where you get unlimited listening. And usually these songs are gain matched, which is really nice when you're trying to play them live. That's already been done for you in the sense that they try to target a specific dB or average loudness level so that the songs are kind of reasonably the same. Now the cons of using streaming services, and the reason you don't see a lot of DJs using this, is you need internet access, and this isn't always guaranteed, or at a club or a wedding venue when you get a bunch of people inside, that internet access can be shaky at best. There are only really 16 channels of Wi-Fi, and many of those either have overlap with other bands. Trust me, it's just a nightmare trying to rely on streaming services live, which is why most DJs prefer to have their actual files. Also, the quality can be poor, it can be different. These streaming services, especially Tidal, have gotten a lot better. Apple Music, of course, but you often won't get the same quality as if you had the actual file. But once again, this is changing. And the last thing is you're not always available to have this in DJ software. You don't always get performance rights from this, and you may not even be able to incorporate it into DJ software. For instance, some DJ software like Virtual DJ and Serato allow you to use Tidal, but you can't offline tracks in the PC version or the Mac version of Tidal, only on the mobile version, which means if you're trying to DJ with those tracks, you need internet access, which can be a big problem. So we go on to online stores like iTunes and Amazon. Great things is you get the actual file offline, and you're usually going to get the best quality as possible. In fact, Beatport will often allow you to buy individual songs as a lossless file format, so you're not just getting WAV or MP3, you're actually getting the WAV file, which is great. And you're guaranteed to get the correct version of the song, the one that you're buying. You're not dealing with any sketchiness about it's labeled this and not something else. Now, the cons of doing this, for one, you just have to buy each song individually, which can be from $1.30 all the way up to several dollars per song, especially if you're getting lossless. And they may not have all the songs or versions you need. Sometimes it can be difficult to find specific versions of songs, clean versions, although they tend to have a lot of them. But the main thing is it just takes a lot of time to do this. Lastly, sometimes the songs will have copy prediction, which can be annoying. Most DJ software has a way to get around this, but just be aware that that can be an issue. Of course, if you're buying it from Beatport, you shouldn't have to deal with this, but iTunes, sometimes you get it as an M4A format, which is a good format, but just be sure your DJ software that you're using can support it. If you're using, Serato, Virtual DJ, Tractor, Rekordbox, it shouldn't be a problem. But the best thing to do is, buy a song or two, check, make sure it works before you go spending thousands of dollars on this. Then we move on to our DJ pools like Club Killers, BPM Supreme, or Direct Music Service. The great thing about this is you often will get unlimited downloads. Now there are some like Direct Music Service where to get unlimited downloads you have to pay more, and they have a cheaper version that only allows a certain number of downloads per month, but it's pretty standard to get unlimited downloads. And you'll also get exclusive just for DJs edits and remixes. So these are things like intro edits where it's easier to mix in the songs. You'll get slam edits, as we talked about, just special transition tracks, all sorts of things like that, including remixes. And it's great that these different DJ pools try to compete with each other because they try to basically get the best editors to come and make songs for you. So that's why I'm subscribed to multiple DJ pools because, I like DJ Scooter from Direct Music Service, but I also like DeVille's edits from Club Killers. You also get performance rights, especially for newer stuff, which is really cool, and you often get hot new tracks before they're released at other places. Cons can be that, can be kind of expensive, sometimes over $300 a year. I spend over $1,000 just on DJ pools, so keep that in mind. The other problem too is you generally will need approval, so it's not just as easy as signing up. Usually it's a rubber stamp, but I have had other DJs who I'd be like, you should sign up for this pool, and the approval process was just kind of annoying. So just keep in mind, you do have to sign up. It's usually really easy to get approved, but they want to know that you're an actual DJ and you're not just going to be, taking their files and distributing them to other people. And lastly, there's not always a big backlog for legal reasons. So you're not going to find tracks most of the time from the 70s, 80s, 90s. Direct Music Service is an exception. They tend to have intro edits of a lot of older songs. Club Killers also has a decent backlog, but if you're looking for specific songs, you will generally have to buy those songs outright if it's more than a couple of years old. DJ pools are really for the more modern songs, and what you often do is provide feedback to the DJ pool about how well the song did, so record labels know which songs to push as singles. Sometimes it doesn't even have the newest stuff either. If you're looking for tracks, you're DJing for a lot of the younger crowd and they want to hear edits from SoundCloud or TikTok, those may be too new. They're not even uploaded yet to DJ pool, so keep that in mind as well. Last would be free download sites, things like SoundCloud or the Free Music Archive. Great thing is it's easy to find new and unique stuff, and you could upload your own edits and remixes there as well and get feedback. And most of the time, artists will release these things first there as well. Often leaks, artists will leak their music to SoundCloud, and you can be the first one to hear it, which is really cool. But first of all, downloading, you either have to jump through hoops or it's impossible. Sometimes artists will allow you to download their track, but they'll force you to basically subscribe to them and follow all their social media pages, which can be really annoying as well. So keep that in mind. I try not to download from SoundCloud in these places for these reasons. It's just too much of a hassle. I'd rather just pay the $1 or whatever. But sometimes, that's the only place you can get it. The other thing, it may not have a lot of popular stuff. Only some stuff is available to download, not everything. And sometimes that download is just a link to Beatport. So in that case, you'll just have to buy it. So there's so much quantity there. It can be also difficult to find quality over all the quantity. And then we, of course, move to illegal sites. Now, the pros here, of course, is that it's free, and they tend to be a big catalog, including stuff you can't always buy. And it can be quick to download if you're in the middle of an event. A lot of DJs I know will use these illegal sites if they get a request and they don't have time to, log into their DJ pool or whatnot. But there are a lot of cons with this as well. First is that it's illegal. You can get caught and it can cost you a lot of money. The next thing, of course, is you can get mislabeled or wrong versions of songs. Sometimes it can be a remix, but it's not labeled as a remix. And it may have DJ tags. You may be listening to a song that got downloaded from an illegal site, and all of a sudden you'll hear, this is DJ Star Smash or something, and that's not your DJ name. So what the heck? You're playing a song that looks really unprofessional. Just be aware of that. And just general sketchiness. There can be ads, other annoying features, viruses, things. You can pull these websites up and you get all these sorts of things that you don't want to see. So I would just say, try to use your discretion here. I'm not going to say DJs don't use these, but just, once again, try to use your discretion. And then we move to YouTube to MP3 converters. These are things like Derpy or YTMP3. I definitely recommend against this, and I'll talk about why, but the pros is probably have the biggest library of all. You have access to all of YouTube, and you can get the exact song from a link. So let's say a client, you're DJing a wedding, they want to hear this particular song for when they walk down the aisle or something. You can get that exact song if they send you a YouTube link. You don't have to try to be like, well, which one is the closest or something like that. You don't have to play that game. Sometimes the only time you can find it is from a YouTube link. It's somebody who, is playing the piano or something. Now, some stuff is only available on YouTube or only available for download on YouTube. This can be especially be clean edits where somebody makes the clean edit. So I'm not saying don't use it, but there are some serious cons. The first is that music video versions are not always correct. I knew a DJ who got a bad review because he played the version from the music video, not the actual song, and it had all these weird sounds in it. Some music videos are like skits, and they'll even stop in the middle of the music video, have all sorts of things. So just be aware, if you're playing a song and you're YouTube to MP3ing the music video, it may be a 10-minute skit that just has the song later on in the song, so be aware of that. Sometimes the quality's bad. Often in YouTube, everything above 16 kilohertz is cut off. If you look at YouTube to MP3 converted songs from a spectrum analyzer, you'll often see that. So just be aware that if you're playing these songs next to songs that you actually purchased and paid for, you'll often hear the difference. So I try to avoid doing this. Plus, of course, you don't get performance rights. The legality of this is, once again, questionable. Now, you want to find a system that works for you, but let me tell you my way. My first place to look is the DJ pools that I have. I tend to go by Club Killers first. They're not paying me to say this. I just really like Club Killers a lot. Maybe I'll look at Headliner Music Club. And when you subscribe to multiple DJ pools, you'll tend to find which ones tend to excel in different areas. So if it's an older song, I'm going to check Direct Music Service first. If it's a newer song, I may check Club Killers first. If it's a, some really deep cut of hip hop or something, then maybe I'll use a different record pool. So, you'll kind of get a feel for which ones to look at. Then what I'll do if I can't find it there is I'll look for the song online. I tend to use Amazon Music because I don't think you can buy music from iTunes anymore. So you would have to use something online, Amazon Music. If it's an EDM track, typically I'll find it on Beatport. And as a last resort, something like a YouTube to MP3 converter or a Spotify converter. Once again, remembering that these things, the sketchiness, the legality of this is questionable, but sometimes you just need to have that song and you got to do what you can. So when it comes to building a music library from scratch, my recommendation would be as follows. Start by building a core library. It may be 100 to 500 songs, and these are songs you're going to just either buy outright or do what I did and find them from CDs and such. And if you use something like iTunes Match, you can download the higher quality version, which is really, really cool. And if your streaming software allows you to offline tracks, you can do this as well. Now Beatport is offering a streaming version, which is really cool. So if you can offline those tracks when you have your core library, be sure to do that. That way, when you're at a gig, if there's no Wi-Fi or the Wi-Fi gets sketchy when a bunch of people are in the room trying to use that same Wi-Fi, you're not going to run into issues like some DJs I know have. The other thing to note is some websites like audiodjdrops.com or Crook & Clan, they'll have specific packs of music or individual DJ edits, and this can be great if you don't want to just all of a sudden drop $300 on a DJ pool, or at least start building up your library, and then once you've gotten momentum, then you can of course subscribe to a DJ pool that you like once you've built your core library, especially a core library that includes songs that aren't just, the latest year and 2 years of music, because often what you're going to be asked to play isn't just music that's come out in the last year or so. You're going to be playing music the last 5, 10, if you're doing weddings, 20, 30, 40, 50 years that have come out. So a DJ pool isn't going to always be the best choice for this. It'll help build up that library. So diversify your sources, be sure you can find music from all these different places, but that DJ pool is going to keep you up to date and will in the long run save you a bunch of money. And if you're booking enough events and making money, it's going to be worth it to have that DJ pool, mainly for the peace of mind and just for checking out what's hot, getting those special edits, those sorts of things. So thanks for watching. Hope you found this helpful. Where do you get your music? I'd like to know. Awesome. See you in the next video.